Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 892. This is the last show of 2023. Today, I will discuss PC shutdown fix, syncing calendars and contacts, guerrilla marketing tactics from two major companies that confuses clients and shameful on them. IMAP folder sync problems. And I ran into it not only last weekend, but again yesterday. But first, hope everyone had an enjoyable and happy Christmas with your loved ones, family. I know I did. It was nice to relax and be with my wife and two sons down here in Florida. The weather was great. We had a great Italian restaurant that we did our Christmas Eve traditional dinner, and we had to find a new one for down here in Florida because I love the one up near me in Hatboro called Pasta Vazul, and I love that place. So had a good time. Everybody was happy with what they got, and now we want to ring in the new year. So first, if you're not doing anything New Year's Eve, join me 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. as I ring in the new year across all the time zones in the U.S. So hopefully you'll find a way to even join Discord and join us live, because I'm going to be on Discord. Now, I'm going to get on a little earlier than 10 because I got some major testing to do with Discord, and then taking the Discord video and making sure that I am broadcasting it properly on OBS. So we'll have to, cross our fingers and hope everything works out. So now let's begin. And a shutdown was stuck on an HP PC that was bothering my client. They didn't want to have to hold the button down all the time and power down. I get it. I wouldn't want to, I don't like having to do that. And a lot of times we get out of trouble. We'll recommend a client if they're having trouble and they can't shut it down, hold the power button in, or sometimes even pull the power cord. Well, I remoted in, and the first thing I did was make sure all Windows updates were good, make sure it was clean of any kind of infection or viruses or malware. But I knew the main thing is drivers. And when you are unable to shut down your machine, most likely it's a rogue or infected or damaged driver, or there's an issue with that driver, and updating them from the manufacturer's website is the best way to go. It's the only time I go update all the drivers from an HP or a Dell website is when there's a problem to fix. So it was HP. We logged in, we downloaded the program, and there were a lot of driver updates. So I selected all the driver updates, and I'm doing this remotely, and made sure everything was installed and downloaded correctly. We rebooted, and she has now tested a few times, and it is shutting down properly like it should. So if anything's hung, go look at all your drivers. That's a great solution. So I get a call on a client whose personal iPhone they use for business, and it's Exchange hosted email, so they have access to ActiveSync, and they were telling me their calendar and their contacts were not syncing properly with Outlook. Now, natively, ActiveSync syncs perfectly. All of those, the notes, the calendar, the contacts, your email, But what a lot of users forget to do is set the default on your phone. And this is for Android or iPhone. So he had an iPhone, and yes, he just got a new iPhone. So the first thing I said, just go right to the calendar and make sure the default calendar on your phone is the calendar for your business email where it's Exchange hosted. And do the same for contacts. The minute he did that, everything just working beautifully. And that was really, really good to be able to help him. And so let's move on. I promised talking about guerrilla marketing tactics. The last few weeks, Intuit scared users into conning them into like demanding that they're not going to be able to use QuickBooks unless they upgrade to QuickBooks 2024. And that is just wrong. It is wrong. It is a horrible guerrilla marketing tactic to scare the user into and these were legitimate messages that even the CPA for that organization, and there was two organizations that had the same scare tactics happen to them. He called, he's a pro advisor, so he called, and they even admitted that, yes, the marketing, they're just trying to push users to upsell the new version. And that's wrong. You shouldn't scare users like that. And I don't think it's a fair tactic. And there's a lot of people that wouldn't even question. They'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a real message from Intuit. I got to upgrade. And they would go through that expensive upgrade process. But yes, I agree with upgrading software. I'm not against that because you want to stay current in case you have a support problem or you have an issue. So we always encourage our clients to be at the latest, greatest software version. But if there's no need to go through and force an upgrade where I got to put the new DB manager on the server, I have to upgrade all the workstations, I have to migrate the data. So they have several databases that I would have to migrate. It's a lot of work and it's a big expense. Not only the expense of buying the software. So anyway, shame on Intuit. And now shame on Microsoft. If anybody runs into this and knows how to stop it, and it's more prevalent with Windows 11, have you noticed Microsoft gaming pop-ups and notifications after a couple reboots? I cannot eliminate them. I was trying, and I've turned off all notifications. The systems are completely clean. They will get a pop-up every time they reboot on a gaming system, and nothing's in the startup. So this has to be buried in the registry, or is there a way to do it? It is for a Microsoft purchase. So again, guerrilla tactics from Microsoft. I don't approve of them. I don't like that, and it should stop. And can we stop using Microsoft software and Intuit? No. And that's the problem. They know they own us, and it's very hard to migrate. Yes, everybody say, yeah, go to Apple or go to Linux instead of well, you know what? It's not going to happen in the corporate world, and it's not going to happen for, 99% of our clients. We unfortunately in the business world live with Windows, and there's no way they're going to migrate to Apple or to Linux. So yes, they're nice personal options, but they got the corporate world right where they want them, and they can apply the pressure. But why games on a corporate system? That doesn't seem fair, does it? Anyway, so let's keep going. Gmail folder for IMAP not syncing to Outlook. And I have a link, and that'll be the first link in the show notes. And it's choose which IMAP account folders appear in Outlook. And it's very easy. And I wanted to just remind everybody, you just right click, you got IMAP folders, click query, and make sure you're subscribing to all the folders. I had to do this on multiple systems yesterday. I have a problem. It is an auto discover problem, and it's legacy from an old Exchange server that I retired, and I eliminated the local auto discover, created a registry, and right now, Winston Wolf, if he's listening, he knows he spent all night with me, as we created this registry fix. And the man is a genius, and we got this working. Well, it has reared its ugly head. The registry fix does not work anymore, and it's Exchange hosted, and I cannot connect to the Exchange server from Outlook. ActiveSync works. Legacy users that I didn't have to create, but we're talking a new system with brand new Office 365, and then taking Outlook and trying to connect. The auto discover IP address is correct in the DNS. Well, I had no choice but to go IMAP. I had to get them up and running. So with their legacy folders, and then ran into this, and I've run into this now several times. So this is a good website to keep. And remember, there was a view I had to change a few weeks ago from an IMAP connected. Well, this is the primary. If you are pulling from an Exchange server and you're going to use IMAP, you got to go through this process of making sure you are subscribed to all the folders. And then you got to double check the view and make sure you're not hiding IMAP, which for the life of me, I haven't figured out why that's even an option. Why would you want to hide email from IMAP folders? Anyway, not to question Microsoft, but, I will. Okay. The next DB Power Amp, going to bring this back. I needed this for a user who wanted to play his WMA files on a USB stick in his car, but he could not. The only way we can do that is migrate it to an acceptable format for the car. DB Power Amp, it's not free, but I love all of the possibilities of converting from any audio format to any other. I have been using this for a long time. I use it every time I'm going to post my show up, because I use the ID tag option where I can right click and edit the ID3 tags for my audio that I post up to Libsyn for every show. So there's lots of advantages if you want to convert from from Wave to Flock, the highest quality MP3, AAC, Apple lossless. It's everything you need if you are converting from one audio format to another. So last week, I need to talk about, now it's a weekend, right? And it's a weekend before Christmas. So let me describe Friday night, Saturday, and Christmas Eve, Sunday. Friday had a user call me, and see, that's problem one. My users have my cell phone. That's why new business cards not going to have the cell phone number on it. But anyway, I don't mind helping clients, but I'm heading out to dinner, and with my family. They just arrived Friday afternoon and we're heading out for Friday night. Anybody follows me on Facebook and you see that photo, that was right after my second phone call. So the first one, I said, unplug the system because it locked up. And this was an IMAP. I said, unplug it. Let it sit for a minute or two, plug it back in, log in. That fixed the problem. Now, here was an interesting one. An owner of one of my businesses, and he leaves a voicemail. He says, I am so sorry to bother you on Friday night before Christmas, but I'm having my daughter is having a not enough memory issue on a brand new laptop. And I talked to him. He bought the laptop without consulting me, of course, from Costco. And it has 18 gig of RAM. Now, that's a very odd number for memory. And it keeps running out of, it says not enough memory when anytime she's going somewhere. I said, look, do me a favor. You just bought it. You can box that up and take it back. Go take it back. Go to Best Buy. Go to Staples. It's a Friday night before Christmas. And I gave him the specs of the system that I want him to get for the laptop. And all is better now. So now Saturday, I get a call from a client that I haven't heard from for a while. And this was when my son Tyler and I were heading out to dinner. So of course it's not Saturday during the day. It's in the early evening. So Saturday, and this was interesting, his Microsoft Surface Pro has died and won't charge. And unfortunately, the bad news that I had to convey to him, because I've had this happen to me on a Surface Pro, and it's why I will not recommend Surface Pros anymore. The only place in the world that can replace the battery is Microsoft, unless you get someone that has the confidence and can figure out how to open it up to replace the battery. There is no fix other than that. It's now a brick, and he needs to get data off it. So I gave him the phone number, and I don't know how. I've been so busy this week, I haven't followed up. I gave him the phone number of one of a shop that I know where the guy is tremendous at opening any Apple product, and he's certified. He can open that iPhone and replace batteries and do things. And I said, he has the tools and the patience and the know-how. He might be able to break into that Microsoft Surface Pro and get the drive out for us. You get that drive out, I will get the data. And provided it's not encrypted, or make sure, hopefully he has, if it is encrypted, does he have the BitLocker key? And I didn't go down there and didn't want to go down that road until I knew we could get the drive. So that was Saturday. So Sunday morning, a regular client Outlook email stopped working. And I just texted him to close all the programs and reboot. How familiar is that for an instruction for someone? Pull the power plug, reboot the system. When in doubt, close everything and reboot. And of course, that fixed the issue. Christmas Day, I am happy to report there were no text or calls. And I'm actually was shocked, because I always get a call on Christmas, on Easter, on New Year's Day. I always at least get one call, but no calls this Christmas Day. So that was great. Got to spend enjoyable time with the family. Now let's skip to last night, Friday night. My son and me worked until 8 o'clock at night. We worked from 9 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night. I'm taking care of clients. He's on site at clients installing new systems that they wanted up and running before the end of the new year. before the new year started. So we got 2 clients installing several systems, and he ran into every problem known to man. Now, once he got it connected to the domain and the office working, then he did a FABS transfer, except for directories that are not included or those extra folders, which I no longer recommend nor no longer use that function in FABS to back up extra folders, because it is proven and listeners has confirmed the function does not work all the time. So I manually copied folders that we needed to copy. Everything else transferred, and it worked perfectly. Still love the product as long as you know what you're dealing with and how to correct that. So I got that all taken care of. But now the one problem, and it's a program called My Mail List. And it's a little database program that was written, and he has the CD from Windows 98. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I had to deal with this and getting it working when I migrated him from Windows 7 to Windows 10. That was years ago. Well, now his newest system is Windows 11, and you normally can put the directory up. You could just copy the whole contents of the directory, click the executable. It's not a portable app, though. It does have DLLs. And the DLL that was stopping us from running is calcadv.dll. So let's cut and paste that, because that's what I did last night here. This is a website to bookmark and keep. If you've never used it, it's called DLL Me. I start searching for the DLL, calcadv DLL. If you can't find it, click here to request this file. I don't know why it didn't show it, because last night I downloaded it. So anyway, I was able to grab the DLL file and transfer it to the system that had the program, but now you got to register it. So one of the things you need to do is Google, how do you register a DLL in Windows 11? And it'll give you the instructions. And you have to open a command prompt as administrator, and then you can download the software. Open as a command prompt, navigate to the right directory, and then execute the reg svr32 space the name of the DLL. So you got to put the DLL either in the system32 directory or the syswow64, because it's a 64-bit system. So I actually put it in both places and then registered the one in the syswow directory, and the program launched perfectly. So don't know if this is going to work all the time, but if you run into this, this is a site you should have. Okay. Let's see. I want to go over all of my notes. So it's time for listener email, and there's going to be 3 additional links for the email. So let me bring up the 4 emails. I got 2 from Bill Dwyer, and I got 1 from Michael Arnold that has a great question. You can ask your listeners this as well. Do you think Microsoft is going to tick off both home and business users when they cut off support with Windows 10? He used a different word other than tick. Yes, they absolutely. Everybody is going to get mad when they pull the plug on Windows 10, even though they've been warning us, because everybody's got to buy new hardware. Most people. What happens to all the PCs that can't upgrade to Windows 11? Going into a landfill. Yes, I know there are ways to upgrade for unsupported hardware, but I would never, ever, ever do that for a business client. So you have to prepare. It's October 2025. It sounds like it's a long way off, but you should plan in 2024. And I've positioned a lot of my bigger clients where they got to worry about the budget to budget in. Let's get new systems and let's plan on how we're going to roll them out and when. And certainly if a system fails now, I don't want to spend any money trying to fix it. I said, let's replace it. So now my system that I personally have that Carrie Holzman built, years ago, I have two. I have the Beast in Pennsylvania and I have the Beast 2. Both can run Windows 11, but I'm not upgrading to Windows 11 yet on my own personal system because I support too many Windows 10 systems and I'm not ready to pull the trigger, even though I know Windows 11. I know a lot of the tweaks and a lot of the fixes. I thought this was a good decision for maybe a New Year's resolution for your clients, and you can, make a little joke about that. Get to Windows 11 Pro. I don't even recognize Windows 11 Home unless it truly is a home user that will never do any. Even then, I want them to have Windows 11 Pro. So, because especially if they have a laptop, you want to have BitLocker encryption, regardless whether that's a requirement or a compliance issue or not, just to protect the data if the system gets lost. So now Michael continues, do you think there will be a Windows 12? Yes, and here's why. Because Microsoft said several times that Windows 10 is the last operating system. It's just going to be extensions and upgrades to Windows 10. And what did they do? They announced Windows 11. They can't help themselves. It's just like having software license. I'll give you an example. Malwarebytes. Remember Malwarebytes was free forever? Well, that's an unsustainable profit model. You can't. If no one's ever going to upgrade, you can't make the money. I get it. I understand. So Microsoft will absolutely, no matter what they say, they're going to come up with a new version. It'll be in a few years. At least Microsoft's way better than Apple at that. Apple forces you to buy new hardware, every 4 years. If you need the latest operating system for Apple, if your hardware is more than 4 years old, they cut it off. Now, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 4, but lately it's been 4. And I literally have an iMac 27-inch that's like a brick on my desk in Pennsylvania because of that. And there's no sense. It's running perfectly. It's got 64 gig of RAM. It's got a terabyte SSD. The system is gorgeous and running perfectly, but I can't install the latest operating system. And that's just the forcing. There's no compatibility problem. They're just forcing you to do it because they need to make money on the hardware. So to get back, yes, I think there's going to be a 12. Yes, I think there's going to be an uproar with the Windows 10. Will Microsoft change the date? Of security updates? I don't think so, because they've hammered this date for a long time. But then again, look, they extended Windows 7 and so let's see what they do, but it's going to get ugly out there. All right. This is an email from Austin. Hi, Mike. First, Happy Christmas. You forgot the MTS tradition, of playing the Christmas canon at the end of the show. Very interesting on my Christmas show. Yes, in the past, I absolutely would always play audio at the end of the show. And it was always the Christmas canon on the last show before Christmas. Here's the problem with that. YouTube started flagging that when any music, and that's why I got rid of 2 years ago the intro and outro music that I used to have, because even though I was allowed to use it and given permission from the author, YouTube still would flag it, and there were too many problems to try to overcome it. So I just succumbed, and I don't include the music in the actual show. But I did play it in the post show anyway, which I wrote Austin. I am backing up my WordPress website using FTP. I want a program that will synchronize the remote folder to the local folder. So if any changes is made to files on the remote folder, it will bring it down to the local folder. If any files is removed from the remote folder, it will remove it from the local folder. Is there such a thing? Absolutely. And I wrote Austin and said, SyncBack Pro. It's not free, but I use that to back up websites. It's $54.95. The link will be in the show notes. SyncBack has an incredible free version, but the free version has a couple limitations, especially syncing, like if you want to back up OneDrive or something from SharePoint or anything from a website or Dropbox or something like that, you need the pro version. I love it. Love it. You know, I've been talking about SyncBack for years and years, and it's a great program. You'll find other uses for it. It's a lifetime license, and you can use it on, I think, up to 5 systems. So, hey, it's well worth it, and you should absolutely check it out. So let's get to the final 2 emails of 2023, and they're both from Bill, and he sent me 2 websites to check out, and they're both AI related. So the first one I'm going to bring up, it's from ZDNet, and it's an article. I spent a weekend with Amazon's free AI courses, and I highly recommend that you do too. I have not had the time to take those classes, so I want to put the link in the chat, and they will also be in the show notes. The last link, and this is from Bill, and let me bring that up. And this is Copilot. So since Copilot's AI, I will make sure copilot.microsoft.com. I have only spent very little time exploring Copilot. I know this is the AI add-in for your Microsoft Office suite of products, and it's also now built right into Bing. And check this out, the website, you have to log in with your Microsoft account, and you can chat, travel, laugh, organize, create, compare, make a song with Suno. Check it out. Just play with it. You don't want to be left in the dust with where AI is concerned. It's why I cover it, not in depth as a lot of other people, but I want to make sure you're taking advantage of it and you're aware of the pros and cons and using AI and trying to incorporate it into your business. You really should, because you don't want to be left in the dust while everybody else and your competitors start taking advantage of the AI and beating you on things. So depending on your business, depending on what you're doing, you should really look into these things. And that's why I try to bring, as much information as I can to keep you informed. That is it for 2023. I had a great year. I've been very lucky health-wise for myself, my family. I am very, very happy. Could use more clients, and that's one of my things, because another client that I literally just got an email while I was on the show. They're were bought up by a bigger organization, and so I'm helping their IT department kind of migrate away from the Microsoft 365 tenant that they're in. This is a regular client I'm now losing, and it's one of like 4 or 5 clients where they're retiring or they've sold the business to someone that's got their own IT, and I'm starting to see more of that. And that's kind of the new, I guess if I have a New Year's resolution, it's to get serious and get more clients and start doing creative things to bring on more clients. And I mention it here because I partner with a lot of listeners who need help with clients, or maybe it's your own company that you work for and you happen to listen to me. Reach out to me, MikeTechShow@gmail.com, and let's talk. It's worth having a Zoom call, so at least we can see, hey, is this a fit or not? Is the cost benefit worth it? You know, can I help you out? So that's why I don't have any advertisers anymore here on the show, but I will advertise my MHS consulting business because that's what I do. And it's where I pull all my material from, but never mention the company name. So, but we will be doing that on January 11th, where one of my clients will be on the show. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, and celebrating that with all the listeners that can join. And I really appreciate hanging with me, staying subscribed to the show, whether you view it or you subscribe on YouTube, or whether from the RSS feed, maybe you just listen right on the web. Thank you. Thank you for all your feedback and participation in the show. It wouldn't be there without you. As I've always said, I like to be the conduit between listeners' problems and the solutions, and then interject my take on that and solutions. It wouldn't work without you. I wouldn't be here without you. And I thank you so much for making this so enjoyable for me to do the show. That's it. As we say goodbye to 2023 and welcome in 2024, I will see you next year. Same time, same channel. Well, maybe not Saturday afternoon, but on Thursday nights and on Twitch live. Join Discord, and especially to join tomorrow night. If you want to join with video, join with Discord, or just hang out in the chat in Twitch, and welcome in the new year. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.